when I got home, I thought I had everything figured out. Low blood, and the doctor said he's anemic.
Phenomenal Motherhood, where we discover, discuss, debunk, and celebrate motherhood.
During pregnancy, women receive support during the first and second and third trimester. I don't know if you know about this, but we also have the fourth trimester, which in my opinion is the hardest trimester. However, this is less spoken about and women receive little to nothing support during this time.
Don't get me wrong, it can be so beautiful, super rewarding, and absolutely joyful to bring home a new baby. But in the same breath, it is still a very physical, a very tiring, and an extremely emotional time.
On today's episode of Phenomenal Motherhood, I am joined by the gorgeous Portia Nhlapho. She's beautiful and she's a wife. She's a businesswoman. She's a mother of 3 boys, and after 3 kids, she defines her 4th trimester as expect the unexpected. Now we are going to revel down on that, okay? Now she has 3 boys, like I mentioned. Her first child is 12 years old. The second child is 7 years old, and I won't say the last born.
The last born. The last one.
No, we just said the third.
Omega.
Okay. The third born is just over 3 months old, and yeah, welcome to Phenomenal Motherhood, Portia.
Thank you for having me.
And I define you as a super mom because of the amazing work that you do.
Thank you so much.
You are an amazing mother.
Thank you.
You have an after daycare. You take care of other people's children, and you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you so much.
It is growing, and I'm honored to just have you sitting right next to me.
Thank you. I'm honored to be sitting right here with you.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to dive right into the 4th trimester and expect the unexpected, Portia says. Now we're going to find out and just debunk everything around expecting the unexpected after the 4th trimester or during the 4th trimester. So now, Portia, I want you to take us through the moments after you gave birth to your son, your 3rd born. How did you feel? Ooh. I know it's exhausting and it was different for both of us. You had a vaginal birth, right? So I want you to take us through, the moments after you gave birth. How did you feel after giving birth? Were there any complications with your birth?
With my last pregnancy, I gave birth to a big baby, so they call him. He weighed 4.1.
Wow.
And it was a natural delivery.
Wow.
And surprisingly, it didn't even take long for him to come out. It took around 10 minutes because I gave birth. Well, the doctor started asking me to push at around 10 past 12. And 25 minutes past 12, he was out.
Wow.
So yeah, I thank God for that. I don't know how I did it, but
Did you take?
Obviously, 4.1.
And how was the stitching?
I think they numbed me so that I don't feel the pain.
Wow.
If not, but I'm imagining the stitch.
It's pain because I remember with myself, with my first child, Ayo, the stitches were, I don't know, out of this world. They were really, really painful. And I was just over the whole birth and the labor. It was extremely painful. So since you had a vaginal birth, right? And you gave birth to such a big baby, a 4.1 kgs. That's a big baby. That's big.
It was big.
Yeah. So, were there any, like you said, there were no any complications? No. Of course, you were stitched, but you were numbed, and it was not as painful. Yeah. So, I wanted to know, how long did you stay at the hospital, and how was your baby adjusting to the outside world when you got home? Did you receive any help when you got home? I mean, now it's during the COVID times, and it's kind of tricky to have people coming over to help out and stuff.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
We stayed for 2 days. It was supposed to be 3 days, but I asked the doctor, I was like, yo, brother, I'm tired. Plus, the hospital beds are not comfortable. So it was 2 days. And when I got home, I thought I had everything figured out.
Expect the unexpected.
I thought I had everything figured out. I was exhausted actually, because I lost a lot of blood.
Yo.
Yeah, and I had blood clots.
Are you serious?
Yes, I did. But it wasn't like, it wasn't an emergency or anything like that.
It wasn't severe.
Yeah. So I could feel that I was lightheaded, and at some point I almost fainted.
Sure.
But yeah, so when I got home, I was so exhausted. I was exhausted. I wanted the only thing that I wanted to do was sleep. And thank God for my mother. Yo.
Mothers are everything.
Yo, thank
Mommy,
God.
if you're watching, we love you.
Love all the way. Thank God for my mom. She
Yeah.
came through for me.
Yeah.
She was there for 2 weeks. Two weeks she was there. And luckily, my husband is also very helpful. I mean, with cooking and all those things. So I'm grateful for him for that also.
Big ups to hubby.
Yeah, so it wasn't hard, but I was just exhausted. Yeah, all I wanted to do was sleep. And yeah, thank God for my mom. Yeah.
Mothers are really everything. And
Yes.
I'm assuming this was at a private hospital or government hospital?
After my saga with my second born, I was like, let's go to the private.
Let's do the private way.
Let's try the private way,
Yeah.
because So
it was a lot.
But it was a great experience.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stories that I heard about private hospitals, I didn't experience any of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy. I was happy, Shem. Plus the food.
Ooh,
Yay.
girl, the
Yay.
food is amazing. I remember after giving birth, when I came back home,
Yeah.
the food my husband was making for me, I'm like, baby, I love you, but the hospital food,
Too much salt.
I'm telling you, exactly.
Yeah.
The hospital food. I gave birth at Midstream Mediclinic.
Yeah.
The food was amazing. I'm one person that used to say, I'll never eat food at the hospital. But I couldn't wait for lunch. I couldn't wait for supper.
Shame.
The food is very, very nice.
Yeah, and also the service. I mean, even after you have your food and whatnot, they ask you, was the food nice?
Yes.
So,
they need feedback. Which is very important.
Value for money.
Definitely. Alrighty, so Portia, now you get home with your beautiful baby, bouncing heavy baby.
Hey, yo.
Now, how was your baby adjusting to the outside world? Did you choose to breastfeed your baby? Did you choose formula? How was the feeding process when you got home with your baby?
When we got home, I remember my first prayer was like, please don't cry. Because I experienced a crying baby with my second born. So my prayer was, please don't cry. Anything else but please don't cry. So at least for the first week he didn't cry, and he slept. But maybe I should have been specific and said, please don't cry and please sleep. So one prayer was answered, but the other one was not.
Sure.
So he doesn't sleep. And I remember when I got the first week, he didn't cry. But the second and third week, he started crying non-stop. So his pediatrician gave us a prescription to go and buy a Retrovia. They call it Retrovia drops.
Okay.
And also I saw this Telamint colic drops, which I bought and used for him not to cry, but I think he was suffering from gas.
Oh,
yeah,
gas.
He had too much
okay.
gas.
Okay.
Yeah, so it helped a lot, and at least he could sleep an hour and more. even though that is not like enough, So he at least he tried sleeping, and the crying stopped. He doesn't cry. He's not he's not a crying baby.
Thank the Lord.
With breastfeeding, I wanted to breastfeed for the first 6 months, but with me, I have low breast milk supply. So at the hospital, they gave him a formula. They started him with formula.
Okay.
And so I guess he enjoyed it. So when I tried to breastfeed him, he was not budging. He didn't like it that much. Yeah. So we were left with formula feeding.
Okay. How did that make you feel that he didn't want your breast milk?
A part of me was happy.
Why?
Because when I breastfeed, I have to eat.
And that means gaining a lot of weight.
Gaining a lot of weight.
Yep.
But that is not a problem. I mean, weight can be...
You can work on it.
You can work on it. You can lose it. But a part of me was... I think I was losing that, that... mother and child bond, that feeling of, when they look at you in the eyes, while you're breastfeeding, so but
yeah, it happens. It happens. I actually have a friend of mine that she wants to breastfeed her baby, but she's got a low milk supply and she's not able to. And I remember she was telling me how it affected her mentally. She felt like her baby was rejecting her, and that is very sad. Hey, that is very sad.
Yeah.
Okay, Portia, and I am aware that a lot of women after giving birth, fourth trimester is not easy, and a lot of women go through postpartum depression or baby blues, where you're just feeling kind of down and sad and feeling like you're not enough or you're not doing enough for your baby. Did you also go through that in your fourth trimester?
I think with me, because of the exhaustion, and again being having two other boys, it was a different feeling that I've never felt before, and me being used to helping myself. I don't like asking for help, so it was a shock to me. The baby was not sleeping. I'm tired, I'm moody, I'm yelling at everyone, so it was very difficult for me. I think that period was the first month was more difficult than any other. Yeah. I think I experienced it wasn't that severe. Yeah. But I could see that there was something wrong, and I had to ask for help.
Yeah. And when you asked for help, did you get help? And did it make you ease into motherhood, a little bit better?
I did, and my mother, of course.
Mothers are everything.
So she left everything. She left her business, to come and stay with us.
Wow.
She's still here with us. The baby's 5 months, and she's still here, because it's hard. I mean, imagine you're a mother, you have to cook, you have to help kids with schoolwork, and now with COVID, you're working from home. My husband is working from home, and there's no your knock off time. They're always working, always. Sometimes he leaves, So, but my mom, she's a superwoman, because in the morning I can't wake up because you don't sleep.
Yeah, in the morning.
So she helps. She helps with the kids, to bath them, prepare their lunch box, and all those things. She cleans, she washes. The day she leaves, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But
have you ever considered getting help, like getting a helper to assist when mommy leaves?
About the helper, me considering having a helper, I have trust issues.
Choose your battles.
And I'm grateful that I work at home, the work that I do is flexible,
Yeah.
So at least I can carry him and work with him. And the one thing that I learned during this time is that we can't do everything
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
even if you call yourself a superwoman,
Yes,
like, you can't do everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I learned as well after having children. I used to do things on my own and I don't need help. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to burden people,
Exactly, yeah.
But after having children, you realize that you can't do it on your own. So how do you handle all that? How do you handle all those children and having your own children and having a little baby? How do you do that?
Well, because we start working around 12 o'clock, at least, you have that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to prepare. But for the first 3 months, I had to ask for help. I had to hire someone to help me while I was on maternity leave. So I took a 4-month maternity leave. So she was there for 4 months. And I have other people that assist at the aftercare who work for us.
That's good.
So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I mean, at least you have help and at least you ask for help, which is very important. I know for myself as well, I kind of struggle with that, asking for help. So if you are a mom that is watching, if you are a sister, if you are a friend that is watching and your friend or your sister is about to give birth, just ask. If they don't ask for help, ask, can I help?
Can I help?
So now you mentioned that you've got 2 older kids. Yeah. One is 12 years old. And then the second one is 7 years old. Yeah. How did they warm up to the idea of having a little brother?
Yo, the funniest thing ever. My first, he's a big brother, obviously, he, and I think my last born is closer to my firstborn.
Okay.
Hey, my second one.
The middle
He started mimicking everything that the baby was doing. The crying. He would cry exactly the way that he cries. And his jealousy is, I don't know if it's jealousy or maybe he feels that
the baby's getting all the attention that he was getting. Remember, he was the last one.
And now when people come with gifts, like you can see his face, or I know
where's my gift?
It's not his birthday, so why is he doesn't really understand. So but now he's warming up to him, and I'm trying to let him play big brother roles, go and fetch the nappy, go and do
that
this, go and wipe his mouth, go and do this. So I think he's warming up to him. Even on his birthday, I made sure that all the attention was on him.
Just so he knows that the baby's not here to take away anything from you.
Exactly. So no, my middle child he was jealous.
Shame.
He still is, but at least he's warming up
to the idea. Okay, that's good. So Portia, in my intro I did mention that you said that your 4th trimester is expect the unexpected. Now off camera you were telling me how your baby ended up at the hospital, and sure, it is heartbreaking, because I mean you come back home with your baby. It is the most precious thing ever, and you don't expect anything to go wrong, and already you're going through so much as a mother, healing emotionally and all that. And before taking your baby to the hospital, what was the first thing that you saw, observed from your baby, that there's actually something wrong with my baby? And what's that one thing that you saw, and what did you do immediately after you saw it?
He had flu, and with me, it wasn't really a big red flag. And we have that mom instinct where you are like, no, my baby's not fine. I didn't have that. But my husband was like, no, we have to take him to the hospital, because he was like, his chest was wheezing.
Okay.
So he was worried, So I was like, okay, let's take him to the hospital. It's fine. Let's take him to a doctor. When we got to the hospital, the first thing that they saw, they said he had recessions. Recessions is when the breathing, the breathing is like, you can see that it's straining. Sure. And after that, they had to do their routine checkups, like take your blood samples and all those things, check for COVID and all. So they did that, and while they were taking his blood, like I could see those, like the ladies that were taking his blood, they were concerned because the blood had turned, like it was clotty, like I don't know how to say it, ne? Yeah. And one of them was like, no, you know, they'll see what they'll do with that. And when the results came, the doctor came and said, unfortunately we have to admit him, you know. And my first thought is like, and he was a happy baby, like you couldn't even see that he was sick, you know. So the doctor said, no, we have to admit him. He has low blood. He has to get a blood transfusion. He's anemic. Sure. You know, all those things. So she called a doctor friend of hers and said, it's an emergency. Remember, it's an emergency. Now they had to call an ambulance. We went with an ambulance to Mediclinic in Kloof Mediclinic. Okay. When we got there, they took the baby. It's like they were waiting for him. They took the baby and they started putting drips, and like you can, the crying for me was the worst thing ever. Like it hit. It was hard, Shem.
Can imagine.
So they started putting drips, and then they started taking blood samples again. Sure. You know, one of the nurses said, you know what, can you please go and wait outside because we don't want you to see what's happening, you know. Even when we were outside, I could hear him crying. And you know, sometimes when you go through such things, like the only thing that you can ask God to do is to protect. Like that's the prayer that you have, like you don't have like words, you know. So the nurse comes out after maybe about an hour. Sure. She's like, why are you here? Who took these blood samples? Because now our blood samples, it was different now. Everything was normal with the test that they took. Everything was normal. But with the other hospital, he had low blood, and the doctor said he's anemic and whatnot. He had to go through a blood transfusion. The first thing that the doctor did when we got inside the ward, she hugged me. She said, I know it's COVID and whatnot, but I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for making you go through this. And I said, God is good. Sure. You know.
So the first hospital you went to, that's when they did all the tests, and they said he's anemic, which, I mean, obviously got you guys devastated, and you were stressing emotionally already. You're in fourth trimester, you're trying to heal from the birth, and it's got its own emotions on its own. Yes. And now this. Yes. And then you were transferred to another hospital. Yes. So the new hospital, they did the test, and the results you got from the previous hospital was totally different. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. The doctor said, I'm sorry, and I'm going to look this up, you know. So misdiagnosis, but with the only worry that they had was the wheezing of the so they said he had bronchitis. Sure. So we still had to be admitted so that he can also with the recession, the breathing, so he had to get oxygen for that. So we were admitted in hospital.
Do you know what caused that? Did they explain what caused that?
It's your normal flu, but they said with the babies it's different. Like sometimes it hits the lungs.
So the lungs, maybe the organs of the baby are not yet developed properly.
Exactly. The doctor said it's like your normal flu, you know. But with babies it can cause pneumonia and things like that. And again with the misdiagnosis, the doctor, when she was explaining now, the diagnosis now was different because she was talking about cancer now. They were saying they were going to take the bone marrow transfer the blood fusion.
From the first hospital?
No, from the second hospital now. Because she was saying she had like her surgeons on speed dial. The heart surgeon, the blood transfusion surgeon. I don't know what they call it. I don't know what they call those doctors. Yeah. So like everything it was an emergency.
Sure.
It was an emergency.
So all the doctors were on standby.
They were on standby for if anything, because he was being prepared to be taken to theater.
And that was before the new hospital, the second hospital did their own tests,
exactly.
Sure.
So if they had gone with the test from the previous hospital, he was going to be operated on.
For nothing. Sure. So the misdiagnosis, because I understand this is the fault from the medical side.
Yeah.
Did you follow up on it? Did they take responsibility? What was the procedure?
With the doctor, I don't really blame her because she had the results that she got from the lab. So the lab was the one that
at fault.
They were at fault.
Sure.
Even today we have we've been trying to follow up, but I think it's a waste of energy because obviously they will protect each other.
Yeah, and already I'm also dealing with a lot as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like somebody should take accountability because we don't want this thing to repeat to the next mother, because I mean, guys, fourth trimester is a lot. For me, to be honest, it's the hardest trimester. And I mean, women just deserve all the support. And having to go through misdiagnosis again on top of what you're already going through it's careless from the medical side. It's really careless, and I just wish they could do better. And I'm just glad that the second hospital, the second doctor did their own test, and they realized that the results are wrong and they don't have to operate the baby. And
I told her, I was like, thank God.
Yes, God is faithful.
She said, I learned this from my professor that you don't work with somebody else's results.
Yes, you have to
do your own. So that when you write a report, then you say, no, I tested this person and this is the results that I got. So I'm just so grateful for her, Dr. Angela.
Shout out to you, Dr. Angela. So Portia, you did mention that you were not breastfeeding, right? So during this whole misdiagnosis and your baby getting tested up and down, how were you feeding your baby? What was he eating?
Private hospitals, levels. They order your formula.
Ooh, okay.
They make the formula.
That's good actually.
Yeah. So
less stress on the mother.
They put the formula milk in the fridge, and then the only thing you have to do is just to transfer the milk in your bottle, warm it,
and give the baby. Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Big ups to that.
Yeah.
So Portia, I want to ask about the emotional impact on you throughout this whole thing. How do you deal with the emotions? I mean, it's a lot, to be honest. Like, I've never been through it, but just imagining the whole thing, I can't even comprehend it. So how did you manage your emotions, your mental health? Did you seek help? Were you talking to someone? Did you receive support from family? And
remember, I'm already exhausted, and now you have to sit with the baby in hospital. No visitors, only one person is allowed in. I think the only thing that I'm grateful for is the nurses again. You develop friendship.
You do
with them.
I actually have a contact on WhatsApp from one of my nurses when I gave birth to Ola. Like, we are friends.
You see, so I'm grateful for them because they kept me busy, but also I think naturally I have I don't know whether it's a strong mind or
a strong. Mentally, you're strong.
Mentally, yes. I don't.
You don't easily break
into I don't give into anxiety and all those things.
That's good.
So prayer also helps again.
Absolutely.
So I I was able to go through that whole week. It was exhausting. It was exhausting because even after
you were there for a week.
A whole week. Yes,
Sure.
I was there for the whole week. So yeah, it was exhausting, but we pulled through.
Yeah. Okay, so Portia, you stayed at the hospital for 5 days, right? For a whole week.
Yes.
So
7 days. Actually,
7 days.
Yeah.
Sure. So when you got discharged, what was the procedure, and were you also confident when the doctor says you can take your baby home?
Yeah.
How was your baby feeling at the time?
Honestly speaking, I think I overstayed at the hospital.
Right.
And the only thing that they did, except for the oxygen, was just to nebulize him.
Okay.
You know, they nebulized him, and they gave him a pump.
Okay.
You know, the one that they use for asthma.
Oh,
Asthmatic
okay.
pump.
Okay.
Yeah, they gave him a pump, which is of great help even today. Because when I start hearing him wheezing, I just
Use the
pump
asthma.
him, and
Okay.
then
So it was not diagnosed with asthma.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And I think because he was young or he was still a baby, his lungs are still developing.
Yeah.
But now his breathing is okay.
That's great.
Yeah, so he's doing good actually.
So Portia, now that you are home, it's 5 months later, right?
Yes.
5 months later, and you're home with your baby.
Yeah.
How's the little one doing? Have you been to the hospital since then? And yeah, how are you doing as well? How are you feeling? 4th trimester vibes?
The baby's fine. He's a happy baby.
Wow.
And
He's so adorable. Oh my goodness.
He's big.
He's so adorable. So adorable.
Yeah, he's doing well, Shane. You know, he doesn't sleep still, but at least he doesn't cry. He's a happy baby. Shane is always
Sweet.
smiling. Yeah.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I started going to gym because it helps with my mental wellness. You know?
It really does help.
Because staying at home it's frustrating.
It's
I think it
frustrating.
adds to your.
It does. You
know?
need to go out
Exactly.
and go out with your girlfriends.
Exactly.
You know, have some drinks and just do things that will make you feel better. You know, doing things that make you happy. For example, I was eating. It was making me happy.
It makes us happy.
It was really making me happy at the time. I was enjoying food and I gained a lot of weight, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was something that I could work on, and the great support that I got from my family, my husband, my children, my son Ayo, my mom, my sisters, my cousins. It was my friends as well. It was really, really amazing. And like I said, if you are a mother, if you are a sister, if you're a friend, a grandmother, a cousin, a sister-in-law, if one of your girls is a new mom, please offer support. Please. Even though they don't ask, just be there for them. They need it.
Yeah.
Ask us. We know we need it. We just
some of them don't ask.
They don't ask because they feel like they don't want to burden people with with their babies. You know. So yeah. So, Portia, before we close, I've got a little game that I want us to play. It's called Never Have I Ever, okay? So, in this bowl over here, I have, a little surprise. And each one of us is going to dig our hands inside and take one and read it out. And we're going to say whether we've never done it or we have done it, okay? Do you want to start?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
I've always wanted to do this.
Wow. Okay.
Never have I ever forgotten to pick up my child from school. Ow!
I have. Okay, I can explain. We forgot to pick up Aya, right? So I was not feeling well, and I called my husband. I'm like, I'm not feeling well. I'm at work, so he came to fetch me. We got home. We dozed off, right? And then We woke. I can't remember who woke up first, but we woke up and we had like tons of missed calls, and it was like 1 hour later. It was around 6, and school comes out at 5. We got a missed calls from school that Ayo is here and we haven't fetched him. We quickly rushed out of the house, drove to school in shame, and I'm not proud of it, but it happens.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Next one. Never have I ever given a punishment to my child and I immediately regretted it. I have. Ayo came back to the house and he was so dirty, and I'm like, Ayo, why are you so dirty? You just bathed 2 minutes ago. And it's just like, Mommy, I was just outside getting you a flower. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Well, with mine, I think I wrongly accused him of doing something that he didn't. But because he's used to doing, stuff, things, so everything that he does,
you think it's him.
Or everything wrong that happens, it's always him.
Oh,
so shame. That day, shame, I had to swallow my pride and say, I'm so sorry.
And it's very important, to apologize to our children and to also let them know that we make mistakes. We are not perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Mommy was wrong and mommy is sorry. Yeah. Next one.
Is it me or you?
It's your turn.
Okay. Never have I ever apologized to a stranger for something your child did.
I have
never.
Okay, next is me. Never have I ever let my kid make a mess so I could have 5 minutes break. Never. Mess way.
And then who's going to clean up after
Exactly.
Never. Okay. Never have I ever peed on myself while pregnant.
Never have I ever eaten a treat in hiding.
Where?
I have. It's a norm, okay? We have, and that's okay, mummies. Okay,
it's a
you
must.
Deserve it.
It's a must.
The last one.
Never have I ever called my kid the wrong name. Always.
So, Portia, that was fun having you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video with a mommy, with an auntie, with a friend. And until next episode, bye.